Mommy, no, no. Yeah, get it, master. Yeah. OBJ production. Hi. It's that good night. Good night. It's that good night. Good night. You're gonna really like it. You're gonna really like it. You're gonna really like it. Put on your dancing shoes, let's rock it. Welcome to the studios. My name is Daniel Oluwaseyoinloye. We're here with Ayeni Gbenga. In a little bit, we'll hear more about him. We're in the Rima Planters Studios in Houston, Texas, and we're excited to be here. This is the first broadcast for the Goody Night Radio, and we hope you enjoy it. So today we're just going to be chatting with Gbenga Ayeni. Tell us a little bit about your story now. So, I mean, I just met you, so I kind of know a little bit about you. But tell us, where are you from? What's the ground roots of your story?
Basically, I'm Gbenga Ayeni. I'm an artist, art consultant. I'm into art, design, animation, illustration, graffiti, a little bit of fashion, and a little bit of animation as well. Um, I'm from Lagos, Nigeria. I was born in Lagos, Ikotun to be precise, and I schooled in Lagos as well. Most of my schooling was in Lagos. My elementary, high school, I did college in Lagos before moving to Houston,
Okay.
and that's basically about it.
Okay, so now you were born in Lagos.
Yes.
Now, when you were born in Lagos, what was it like? You know, before you became the so-called artist you are today, renowned graffitiist or communist, all the comics and everything that you do. What was the ground story? What were the things that really formed your discipline to the art stage? And tell us a little bit about your story. You know, your siblings, your family growing up. How was that?
Okay. I was born, like I said, in Lagos, Nigeria. I was born to a family of four. I'm the firstborn, and our, my upbringing was a bit strict. You know, we have a confined upbringing. We are not allowed to mix with other children outside our home, except when we go to school. I was a day student, so I go to school and come back every day, and so, due to my upbringing, first, I started drawing from an early age, and I had issues with my parents
Yes,
with
the
that.
early age. What age you talking about?
I can't remember, man. As there was
So
one time,
you've always you've always had the pencil in your hand.
as far as I can remember, yes,
Okay.
I've always had a pencil in my hand. Even when I grew up, my parents brought out some other drawings I did when I was way younger, where I
Oh wow.
couldn't remember.
Oh yeah.
So they brought my father used to have a voucher for his company, a receipt voucher, invoice voucher for his company. So the extra prints that they didn't use, I used everything to draw. He
Oh wow.
brought it out and showed me. So I knew I was drawing from way back. But as I grew older, my parents didn't approve of it. Like I was drawing too much, and they felt I wasn't concentrating on school and other things. So drawing is taking much parts of my life. So they advocated that I stop drawing and concentrate on school for a time. Even we had to go that struggle for a time. And at one point, before I came back from school one day, my dad burnt all my drawings and all my drawing
How did that
references.
make you feel? And about what age were you then?
I was about 15. Yeah,
Must have been through a tantrum or something.
yeah. It
Must have
was
been
like
bad at pops and stuff.
it was just like everything that made me happy was just
Gone.
gone. And I just came back. Nobody told me anything, although we've been having this argument and everything. I just came back one day and all my drawings were gone, all my references. It's cold.
Yeah, it's cold.
And it was hard to deal with. At that point I knew I have to make a decision, maybe to move forward or to. But you live with your parents, man. You have to abide with whatever they say. They don't want it, they don't want it. So I had to stop drawing at that moment. So I didn't draw. I didn't draw at home, but I was doing little drawings in school, which I couldn't bring
Tell your
home.
parents.
One thing is, in my high school, we have, there are other guys that draw, and there's this not challenge. Let's say they know I draw, so there's always once in a while they'll come and call me like, come and draw this thing. We know you can draw. My friends will be like, you can draw more than this guy, so you have to come and draw it. I could remember there was one time. The two major challenge I could remember. There was one time when PlayStation was coming up gradually as in getting popular in Nigeria. PlayStation games used to have pamphlets inside them. The original ones used to have pamphlets inside them. So I could remember one particular guy brought the one for Tekken. Tekken is a fighting game in PlayStation. So the pamphlet had the characters, all the characters drawn in there. So the guy that brought it gave it to someone else to draw for him and paint. So the guy was drawing with pencil, and most of the time I draw with biro. I freestyle with biro. Wow. So my friend saw it and came to call me like, come and see what this guy is doing, and I know you can do better than that. Like, no, I don't draw anymore. My parents, I should not draw. I said, no, come on. So I went to the guy's class. I saw him doing it. So okay, cool. Now I said, okay, can I just during break time? Can I just see what I can do with this? And I collected it. I remember I collected it, and before the break time was over. Break time is usually like 30 minutes. Before the break time was over, I was able to draw like 5 of the characters with just biro. I didn't draw because the guy gave it initially was drawing with pencil. You will erase then draw. Yeah. But I was just drawing with biro, and I was just and people were like, "Ooh, this guy is good," and everything. That's one of the major challenges.
How is it like? People gather.
Yeah, people will gather around you, and you'll be drawing, and they'll be hailing you, guys, everybody. So that was one major one. Then and at the end of the day, after when I finished, they took me out for lunch, both meetings, and that was cool. And another one I remember was when the CD, what's it called? That was the one I really wished I could continue even now that I'm old. When CD, that was video CD was getting popular, So we didn't have video CDs in our house. We didn't have DVD, CD player in our house, but guys would come with CD and exchange. People who had CDs in their house. So there was one day I saw Lord of the Rings. Yeah, that was the one that really intrigued me. I saw it, so I collected. So two people exchanged the film. Someone brought part 1, another person brought part 2. So they exchanged. So I collected the paper. There's this film paper inside, the poster, the small paper inside. So I collected the papers from the two guys and did the drawing of the. And when they came back the next day, they saw it, like, wow! So everybody, when they come exchange CDs, they will drop the paper for me, take the CD. So I couldn't watch the film, but I was, I had an exercise book then. I was drawing all the, I could remember I did Lord of the Rings, Matrix, I did Bruce Lee, some films from Bruce Lee, I did Jet Li. Jackie Chan, a lot of them, a lot of their movies. I was drawing the cover in the exercise, and one day somebody stole the book from me. It was crazy.
So first thing, your father burned you.
Yeah, and stole all the book from me. So it was somehow, that was it was really rough.
So all these challenges that you kind of talked about, some of the burning of stuff and all that stuff. Like, are there some how did you overcome these challenges, and how have they shaped you into who you are today?
Okay. First when I stopped drawing, I was in science class when I stopped drawing. But in my final year, I didn't want to take my class twice. My final examination, that is in my high school, I didn't want to take the exam twice. And I was having a problem with physics and chemistry. And so at home we having that conversation like, you need to focus on your physics and chemistry and everything. But in my mind, I knew if I had to go for final examination, there's no way I could do it. I have to come back again. So after we discussed okay, let me switch to art class. From art class, I won't have to take physics and chemistry. I would rather take history and fine art to replace them. So that's what happened. I switched in my final year. I switched to arts. So I did physics. I did history and fine arts in replace of chemistry and physics. Okay. So that's how I became official. Okay. So then after that, people were advising me that I should go. I had strong interest in animation. I wanted to be an animator. You know, I had read books, I've watched documentaries and everything. I was so strong. I wanted to become an animator. So people said the first step is for me to go to an art college, to study art first. Then from there, I could decide if I want to be an animator. I spoke to my parents about it, and they were like, my father. I remember what my father said clearly. My father said he will not choose for me, but I should do something that I know will earn me a living. Because he doesn't want any child that will come back to his house and start, saying, Dad, I need money for this, I need money for that. And, so...
How's that working out for you?
So, well, I'm happy now that he could, boast of me. That's one thing I'm happy about,
And how did that come about? What bridged that gap?
Are
you earning the millions he wants you to earn?
No, he didn't really want me to earn millions.
But he wanted you to take care of yourself.
Yes, of myself. That's his point. Like,
so
you can
doing that for you right now.
Yes, of course, and he's doing more for me.
Tell us about that.
So when I left school, one thing is from early age, I've come to discover that nobody is responsible for your life except you. The fact that you have a parent or anything doesn't mean that their sole responsibility is upon you. You understand? Once you're born, you're all by yourself. So from that, I've been able to. My focus has always been independence. Of my parents, of my friends, of anybody, I wanted to be this independent, trying to take care of myself, trying to fend for myself, trying to do my things by myself, everything. That's my main, that's everything I'm doing is towards independence. So when I got into art school, I tried to learn as much as I could, to equip myself, up my game, meet people, talk to them.
The art school?
Yeah, back in Nigeria. Yes, I actually attended Yaba College of Technology, which is a prominent art college in Nigeria. They have a very good art department.
What did you study in there?
I studied general art for my first 2 years, and I majored in painting for my last 2 years. So first 2 years you do general sculpture, painting, graphics, everything, textile. Then the last 2 years you specify. Well, maybe you want to do graphics, painting, or ceramics, or anything. But I choose painting. And why I choose painting? Because after my first 2 years, I went to an advertising agency where I learned graphics, and design and everything. So I was like, why should I come to school and learn graphics again? I should learn something that I don't really know much about, which my school is good in. So painting is very good in my school. So that's why I opted for painting. And from there, I was able to improve my painting skills, little things I don't know about colors and everything that will help my design. I learned it from painting. So my composition skills and everything. Even when I was studying painting, I was dusting people in graphics. My design, they couldn't stand my design. So painting really helped my game. So as I was growing up, I was adding everything. Building more elements. I was studying. A little bit from ceramics, a little bit from textile, a little bit from painting, graphics, and everything.
That's what I respect.
So I was adding everything. I went to after my first 2 years, I was doing internship with advertising agency. I learned a bit of advertising, communication, and graphics. When I came back, I studied painting, understanding colors, composition, perspective, and everything. How to really compose a scene and everything. So that really helped along the way.
There's a lot of elements to your work. There's a lot of levels to your work. I've seen many, well, not many, but a good number of your work.
Yeah.
And that's part of why we're doing this thing, because I'm impressed with your work, and I'm also kind of captivated by your story, and I want to kind of dig deeper into that. So now that we're here, you're here in the United States. Tell me about that transition coming from Nigeria to the United States, and how has that been so far?
Okay. After my college, I had to go. I while I was during my college days and everything, I'm always open to what I wanted to do. I was telling people exactly where I made it. I was telling them, although I'm doing graphics now, I do graphics for a living as majorly graphics. Yeah, that's what I do. But I keep telling people I want to be an animator. I want to be an animator. And people, most response I guess is that if you want to be a good animator, you have to travel out. You have to go to the US. You have to go to where animation really is strong, where you can really get the best.
What's the reason for that? What would you say is the reason for that in terms of Nigeria and education? where do you think Nigeria is when it comes to, the arts, when it comes to animation specifically?
Oh well, when it comes to Nigeria is has this problem. The main problem with Nigerian educational system is that, well, the syllabus is too old. You understand? And another thing is, a lot of schools in Nigeria find it hard to accept new concepts. It's hard for them to integrate new concepts and ideas into their syllabus or into their scheme of work. You understand? And another thing apart from that, another thing is that animation needs a lot of resource. To really achieve, to get animation going or to study animation, you need a lot of resource, you need funds, you need power, which is a major problem in Nigeria. Yeah, and you need the technology, because animation has gone beyond the days of just draw and animate. A lot of tools, a lot of facilities, a lot of equipment. We have the motion capture, we have rigging and some other things that it's to incorporate it into Nigerian educational system is going to be really, really hard. But for now, as far let me say, when I left, the state admission is in Nigeria is that
When did you leave? What year?
I left in 2015.
Okay.
I left Nigeria in October 2015. So the state at which animation is in Nigeria is that a lot of people that are doing animation in Nigeria are self-taught. Although a couple of people come from outside, maybe people that have studied in Canada or US or India coming, but a lot of people in Nigeria doing animation are self-taught animators. So there's a limit to what they can do, because most of them only go online to search for resources but the resource to actualize the knowledge they've acquired is still not there. We don't have the powerful system to render animations. We don't have the power, that's the light, the energy to really process animated movies or animated shots, and the funds too. A lot of people animating in Nigeria are just struggling to survive. They don't really have the funds to execute projects that they wanted to, they're really passionate about. So
and this kind of like explains why people told you have to go.
That's why. And another thing about me is that I felt if I have to do animation, I have to really do it. I have to really do it. I don't want to be a medical. I want to be the best. And another thing that really attracted me to animation is the storytelling aspect. Animation has a lot of storytelling potential. That's the main reason. Coming from my comic background, my movie background, I've seen a lot of things animation can do, and I knew that with my storytelling ability, if I could study animation, definitely I could take my storytelling to the next level. I could do a lot of things with animation, basically. So that's why I felt if I have to study animation, I'll go to where animation is strong, where I could get the best of animation training, and I will interpret that knowledge or use that knowledge to execute my projects.
It was in October you landed.
Yeah.
And now you're here in the United States. So
Yeah.
since you got here, what efforts have you put into getting this animation education that you really want?
Okay.
I heard you started school. What's that like, and where are you at with that?
Yes. Before I left Nigeria, I made research of schools that are very good in animation. I had a collection. I have a list of them around the world, not only in US, in Canada, in Japan, different places, even in Germany, in US. So I started trying from the beginning of 2015. I was trying different schools, applying and this and that. Well, fortunately for me, the school that answered me on time, that responded on time, was the Art Institute of Houston, Texas. So they sent me the admission to come study animation with them. So that's where I resumed to when I got to Houston, and it's very good there. The school is very good, in terms of what I've seen their students do. The school is very good when it comes to animation, and I was hoping to get the best from that school. But the only restriction I'm having so far is the cost. The school is quite expensive. I understand because of what they've put in place for you to learn the animation, but it's expensive. But for now, the school, that's the only challenge I'm having now, is that the school is expensive. But the animation knowledge I want to get, definitely they have it, and even they have more or more, because the Art Institute of Houston, Texas have other branches, and they have professionals from the industry come in and take student on workshop and everything, right?
I think it's important that the audience kind of know that you just got here and you got into this school, and apart from just getting into the school, you've been, the way I met you is because you were doing a project for Raymond Planners.
Yes, sir.
And Raymond Planners was putting together a book, and you were doing the slides for the book. And I was blown away by seeing that book, and I got to know you, and all these things are happening. And I think it's amazing because you just came to the States, and you're working, and you're doing your projects, and you're using your projects to take care of yourself as well as your education. And now you go through the stumbling block, and I think part of that, you just launched this campaign on GoFundMe to help you go through this. Tell us a little bit about your campaign.
Okay, my campaign is basically to source for funds to take care of my college. That's my animation study. I don't it's very simple. I just need funds for the first phase of my animation study to get into the school, and subsequently I'll get a job within the school that will take care of, and I'll be working as well as freelance. But the funds are the GoFundMe campaign that I set up now is to raise funds for the basic immediate needs of my animation study. You understand? Subsequently, I'll get on. I'll get a job. I'll do freelance. I'll collaborate and do other things that will raise funds for subsequent payments. But the immediate one is the one setting up that campaign for, that anybody that whatever you can afford, anybody anywhere, just go there, drop whatever you can afford. No amount is too small, and in return I'm giving a digital portrait to whoever donates on that platform, Nico for me. Yeah, awesome. I'm giving a digital portrait.
So shout out to you guys out there. Get out there, and we'll leave the link on our on the screen so you guys can go out there.
So just go there, donate something, and find a way to send. My email is there, so you can send your pictures to me. Then I'll do a digital portrait of you and send it back to you via email, so you can print it and hang it in your house, or even give it as a gift.
Sounds good. Trust me, we're gonna run some slides too of some of his work. Now that we've talked about kind of like the outline of your story, I'd like to go back into some of your community passions and some of your personal projects that you've worked on. Now, in the past, I had seen you worked on some collaborative stuff with other artists in Nigeria, doing some street art, where you engage people and try and, art is a beautiful thing to have installed outside in public and kind of help enlighten people's day and things like that. And you've done stuff like that with other artists. Now, you also have two projects that we've briefly discussed, which is one, Faragon. Tell us a bit more about Faragon, and then what's the second one? Matuji. So tell us a bit about those two projects.
Okay. First, let me talk about Matuji, because Matuji gave birth to Faragon. Okay. Like I said, I'm from a strong comic background. I like comic. I like storytelling. That's basic. I like storytelling, and I like the comic medium. Why? Because it combines the three major form of storytelling in one. That's the picture and the writing, and the sound. That's if you can put the sound, you can draw the sound of what's happening there. So it's comic for me is the basic complete form of expression. That's why I like comic books, and they are affordable, they are easy to get, they are easy to make. You understand? So while I was trying to make Nigerian comics and everything from my high school days and everything, I discovered that first I was thinking I'm going to be the first to do the first Nigerian comics, but very soon I discovered that's the wrong motive, because I get to meet a lot of people that have done other Nigerian comics, and so from then first my impression was to do the first Nigerian comics. Then later I stopped when I saw what others has done. I stopped, like, okay, now some people have already done Nigerian comics. That's not the next thing. It's not a new thing. So I sat down and thought about that. What next can I do that nobody has done in Nigeria? So I discovered that most Nigerian comics are moving towards one direction. one direction, in the sense that the stories are almost the same. The characters, a lot of people are doing superhero in Nigeria, and the few people that are not doing superhero are not really doing anything unique as part of story is concerned. Storytelling is concerned. So I sat down and created Matuji. Matuji is an epic adventure, that uses Africa as a template. You understand? It uses Africa as a template, but it's not an African. It's not. You don't see African places there, but the people inside are Africans. They are black people. You understand? So I use it's like is telling a kind of Lord of the Rings story in an African way, with a lot of twists and turns in it. You understand? Matuji is a story. This is in segments about world. It's about the adventure. It's about people, different kind of people. In African history, you have a lot of powerful people. You have a lot of powerful places, events that has happened. That's just what Matuji is like. You understand? It's about people, places, events, and everything. But one thing I discovered about Matuji was that a lot of people that narrate the concept too, they find it hard to relate with. And they keep telling me, why don't you do something that's more down to it, that you can easily understand? This concept is nice, but can you do something that is easy to understand, something that you can relate with and all? So after I worked so much on Matuji, I spent like 5 years developing, even more than 5 years, developing Matuji, creating the character, the world.
It's supposed to be a series of sorts.
Yes, it's supposed to be volumes, just like Lord of the Rings, where you have the trilogy, we have the Silmarons, we have the story about the dwarf, the elves, and everything, the middle elves. So it has its own world, it has its own characters, everything. So it has its own time too, time and place, the future, the past, the present, and everything. So I spent time creating this whole universe and everything, but it's hard for people to grasp. So a lot of people
that you got feedback from Nigeria, right?
Yes, Nigeria. Yes,
Americans,
no, they are not Americans. Okay, they're Nigerians. So a lot of them are telling me that, why don't you come up with something more down to earth, something that you are very good, you can draw. So come up with something that is more down to earth, something that is easy to relate with. So, but I was strong-headed about it, like, no, this is what I want to do, and you guys must accept it, whether you like it or not, and everything. But at the point, after going through working in communication and everything, I discovered that there's a time where you have to do something that people want, and there's a time where you have to do something that you want. So I was like, okay, let me try and come up with something that people can easily relate with. So that what gave back to Faragon. Okay. In Nigeria, in Lagos precisely, we have these yellow buses that people use for commuting, and I crafted a story around those yellow buses. A lot of people call them downfall, but
that's what I don't knew them to be till I had
a lot of people call them downfall, but the let me say the strong vocabulary term that the garage guys in Nigeria use is Faragon. And Faragon came from the word Vanagon. That bus originally came from Germany. It's manufactured by Volkswagen, and the name is Vanagon. But due to the way Nigerians remix names, so they changed that Vanagon to Faragon. So
like Aragon.
Yeah. So they picked. So I picked that name.
Yeah. It sounds like a
strong,
epic, like a really epic name.
So I picked that name, and I picked the bus, I picked the driver and the conductor, then the passengers. So Faragon is basically a Lagos story, every day hustle and struggle, the commuting and everything that makes Lagos interesting. That's what Faragon is basically about. So it's supposed to be a web, a free web comic you go download periodically. So just tells the basic Lagos story, the hustle, the bustle, the gala seller, the driver, the conductor, the banker that doesn't have a car and everything, and and the main character is Solo. That's Solo there. Yeah.
That's amazing because earlier today I saw him drawing some of these.
Yeah, that's Solo.
I don't know if the camera can catch it, but you can't see it. No. No, it's just wired out. You're right.
Okay.
But
so
we're gonna flash some others on the
Solo is the main character in Faragon, and is the one that makes Faragon interesting. Solo is a guy that came to experience the Lagos dream. There's something called the Lagos dream, that when you come from the village and come to Lagos, there's potential for you to succeed. So
Lagos is the town where
exactly.
Happens, yeah.
So he came to be part of the Lagos dream, you know. So he's from somewhere in Niger Delta, and he came to Lagos after his school. His friends tell him that he should come to Lagos, that he could get a better job and everything. But unfortunately for him, on getting to Lagos, things were not the way he planned it to be. No job for him to do and everything. So after a long struggle with reality, he came to the resolution that the best thing for him is to take the conductor job. So he has spent 10 years in Lagos. You know, now he's a grounded Lagos boy. So he's recounting his experience, at the same time he's narrating what he goes through on a daily basis. So
that must be very interesting.
you know, so he's telling it through his interaction with the passengers that comes into the bus and everything.
So you go from a epic movie set in a whole new world,
you know,
into the streets of Lagos,
you know,
so that people can relate to it.
And funny enough, luckily enough, people were able to relate with it, because the beauty about Farragon is that people were able to see themselves in the story. You know, like the early issues that we released, people were like, wow, this is interesting, this is amazing, as in this story really connects to us, this story really connects to me, I can see myself in this story. You know, from what people saw, people were able to share their own experience, you know, with this commuting bus, this Farragon buses, and you know, it gives me joy, you know, to see, you know, you know, it gives me joy, and it makes me want to do more, you know, make me want to do more, and that's has been it.
Talking to you, you know, just sitting here, you talked about
Matuji,
and Farragon, and in those two scripts, like you've pretty much even developed the core of the story. And I know that beyond this conversation we're having, you talk to me about some other ideas, some great ideas you have for the community. We don't want to give all the secrets out, but there's a lot of things you have planned, and I can see how your animation degree is going to help you foster some of those ideas. But in the core of all of these beautiful plans and dreams, there must be something that drives you from within. There must be some core values that you stand by, that you live by. There must be things that help you align. What are some of these things? What would you say is your corest value that keeps you going, that motivates you?
Well, first I must say, after I left college, you know, there was this one of our lecturers that prayed for us and said, that's in our final year. She said she's praying for us that as we go out there, we are not going to the labor market, but we're going to the favor market. You understand? And another thing is, after I left college, I keyed to what that woman said, and after I left college, at first I didn't look for a job or anything. I was on my own and I was doing my freelance. But at the point, you know, bills got to be paid, so I had to take a paid job to do. But one thing I discovered out of the paid job is that no matter how much you're earning from a paid job, it will come to a day where you realize that everything you're doing is to support another man's dream. You understand? It's to support, and that's one of the reasons why I had to come back to Farragon and Matuji to continue developing it. It will come to a time, because I've seen people, my mentors, you know, my inspirations, you know, I've seen them. I've seen them complain about the fact that there's this thing they want to do that they are unable to do. You know, that they are unable to do. Why? Because they have been engaged in the paid job for so long, they don't have time to do any other thing. So my main motivation is that I want to develop something that I'll call my own. You understand? And not just call my own, that I'll be able to impact the society with. I don't want to be someone that will continue building another man's dream for the rest of my life. Because the main purpose of studying animation and everything is to give other people opportunity to speak, you know, to talk, to express themselves through me. Like, for instance, when you came, you saw me working on the Rema Planters project and everything. If I didn't develop my own skill, I won't be able to render that service to them. So that's one of the joy. People expressing themselves through my skill, and at the same time I can express my own self through my skill. There's a lot of issue that needs to be addressed in the world. And with my skill, with my craft, with my animation, with my illustration, I could address these issues. I could collaborate with people to address these issues. There was a time I did a project with a German organization. They came to Nigeria. It addressed the issue of second-hand clothes in Nigeria. Those are some of the projects I want to collaborate with. I've collaborated with Absolute Vodka, where we had to do the Absolute Comfort Transform Today project. So I want, my main drive is to equip myself with these skills and be able to communicate, to impact the society positively, help people express themselves, give people an avenue to express themselves through the skills I have. I've collaborated with musical artists to give live visuals to their music, and a lot of projects like that. So my drive is, if I could equip myself with all these skills, all these let me say resource, all this ability, I'll be able to communicate people's ideas, give people voice. So that's one of my main drive. And another thing that drives me is that I want to leave my print on the sound of time. Like, people who meet me and I collaborate with them, they will never forget the impact that I make in their life. And at the end of the day, I'm still open to develop talents, to go back to Nigeria, seek for talent, search for talent, give them opportunity to express themselves, contribute to the society, make projects that will speak positive, speak positive into the life of people and things like that. So that's my drive. I keep learning, so I can keep impacting. That's my drive. I want to give people, I want people to speak through me, and I want to speak through myself as well. So that's my drive every day.
Everybody, Ayeni Gbenga, please don't forget to go to GoFundMe. Support him on his quest for his animation at college. And not just that, but look out for his work, Fargan. For those in Nigeria, even those here who are living in Houston and just around the United States, even Americans, and all the cultures, wherever you are, Fargan is a true, real life story of Nigerian streets, and so you get to listen to more of that. I'm sure as Gbenga continues his journey here, you're gonna hear more of him. But we thank you for coming. Thank you for coming to Goody Night Radio. Breaking our first radio show here. And we thank Rema Planters for giving us the gear and all this fun, fancy stuff in the background. And we hope to have more of these conversations. Till next time, my name is Daniel Luashe. Catch ya. My guy.